Hello, welcome to Paynes Thought Train. This episode, I say that as if they're consistent, is on Paynes Thought Train. Wow. No, it's not. It's on Spiderman Far From Home. There will be spoilers because I did a reaction spoilerless video after I just came out of the cinema a few weeks back. Whereas this one will be a more in-depth, very impromptu video because of circumstances have allowed it. So it's going to be a bit of a mishmash with what I speak about in the order I speak about them. But yeah, it's going to be Spider-Man Far From Home. I loved it. I like most of the Marvel films. I like pretty much all the Spider-Man films. But looking back at Homecoming, I'm not a big fan of Homecoming. But I don't feel like I'm going to... Well, no. I don't think I'm going to feel the same as Homecoming as I do about this film in 6 months' time. I really like this film. There's maybe one or two scenes I don't like, and a little bit in the middle. Well, the first time I watched it, I thought it dipped. The second time around, I didn't feel the same. So basically the premise is Spider-Man, Peter Parker, is on a school trip with his friends, and he visits Prague, Venice first, where he meets the Hydro Man, Prague, where it's Molten Man, and then Cyclone in Britain, London. Obviously, you probably will know who Mysterio is, Quentin Beck. I mean, everyone and their mother knows that he is a villain. Although it's portrayed very well in this film, I think the character, the character Mysterio is fantastic. The look, the powers, what he can do is brilliant. And also Quentin Beck, his character, his story, his arc, his motivations are also very good. Basically, the film suggests that Quentin Beck came from another universe, and these elementals have come with him. It's all bullshit. See, this is what I've seen some people didn't like. He is a former disgruntled Tony Stark employee, which again, a bit like the first one, is an enemy of Tony Stark clashing with Spider-Man. It fits well. I don't know if it's great. I can see why people might not dislike it because it's another Tony Stark involved in a Spider-Man film, but I think it works. If you remember the binary augmented retro framing or BARF from Civil War, Quentin Beck came up with this, and Tony Stark took it and called it BARF, which is why Quentin Beck hates Tony Stark. Rolo, give it a rest. And that's why Mysterio is so good at his illusions. All of his illusions are created between the BARF technology and drones. So the BARF technology creates the illusions, the drones create the damage. So it looks real, it feels real, and it sort of is real. The damage is real, but the cause of that damage is fake. The whole story arc of the film is Quentin Beck and his team, because he's not on his own, he's working with a team of other disgruntled former employees. If you remember all the way back to the first Iron Man, where Obadiah Stane screams at some dude, well, the dude says, "I'm not Tony Stark," and then Obadiah Stane screams, "Tony Stark built this in a cave with a box of scraps." It's that dude did the drone technology, so it all sort of fits into different parts of the MCU. There's a couple of other people as well, I believe, but he is creating all this damage. The whole arc is these people are trying to get hold of the glasses which Tony gave to Peter. Now, these glasses are special glasses. They are called Edith, which is an acronym of Even Dead I'm the Hero, which I like. But these are a $1 billion pair of glasses that are connected to a satellite with all these drones, and Quentin Beck's entire idea is to get hold of these glasses, which they know have been given to Peter Parker, so they need to befriend him or work with him, hence all these convenient attacks happening where Quentin Beck knows Peter Parker is going to be in order to bring him into the fold and work with him. The fight scenes are fantastic. The illusions are fantastic. There's this amazing scene where Spider-Man has worked out who Quentin Beck is not the good guy. So he goes to Nick Fury. Nick Fury takes him to this room, but it turns out that Nick Fury is an illusion, the room is an illusion, Maria Hill is an illusion, all created by Mysterio, which is a prelude to this absolutely phenomenal sequence of Mysterio illusions based, or not based on, but involving and enclosing Peter Parker, Spider-Man, so that he doesn't know what's real, what's not going on. This plays a part in the end because throughout this film they mention, well, Peter, Aunt May and Happy Hogan mentioned the Peter Tingle, which everybody knows is his spider sense. So this is the first official time they've referenced it with words. However, people seem to forget that they had the scene in Civil War where the Stan flies past him, and then a second later he turns back as it's coming past. People forget that. That was the first mention of his spider sense, but people seem to forget that exists. But that's not working at the moment, so he doesn't realise what these illusions are, and he gives up the information about who knows about the glasses so that Quentin Beck can go after his, it turns out, his friends. The big final fight scene in the UK, in London, is drone heavy because obviously Quentin Beck has his glasses, so he brings down his biggest illusion to London. It's a cyclone with a face. Spider-Man fights lots of drones, which he fights his way through the illusion and the drones, where he gets to Quentin Beck, and Quentin Beck attempts to use the illusion tech on him again, but Peter is aware of his spider sense, because I'm not going to call it Peter Tingle, because I see why the MCU have done it, but I don't like it. He calms, he centers himself, and then through this illusion and through his spider sense, he cuts through all the illusion crap and beats Quentin Beck, Mysterio. At which point, Mysterio's on the floor, gives Peter the glasses, and all of a sudden, Quentin Beck is sort of sat in front of Peter. So Peter's looking at him, then all of a sudden out here you hear a bang, and Peter shoots his hand up to grab what turns out to be the real Mysterio, because what he was looking at was an illusion, and using his spider sense he was able to push his hand away from the bullet to save himself. Peter then puts on his glasses and then says to Edith, Edith says, these drones are still attacking people, what would you like us to do? To which Peter Parker then says, Edith, the wording is stupid. Edith says, would you like me to execute all the anti-drone commands? At which point Peter says, yes, do it, execute them all. Even at the time I was thinking, that's not a good choice of words, but anyway, I'll get to that in a few minutes. Throughout this whole film, Nick Fury and Maria Hill fell off. Now, the film did a good job of putting it down to the fact that they had just come back from being blipped, which is what the in-universe people are calling the decimation of the snap. They're calling it the blip. However, there were two post-credit scenes. This was the end credit scene. I've skipped one because I'm on that context anyway. Turns out Maria Hill, Nick Fury were Talos, the Skrull, and his wife from Captain Marvel, and Nick Fury is up in a spaceship with a load of other Skrulls. Don't know what's going on there. Could be S.H.I.E.L.D., I'm not sure. Could be S.W.O.R.D., which I've recently come across as like the rebuilding of S.H.I.E.L.D. from the comics, or a space version of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm not entirely sure on that one, but I'm guessing that would make more sense, unless it's Captain Marvel 2 related or rehoming the Skrulls related. One more thing Nick Fury says, it's a throwaway line. He said something like, well, Talos, as Nick Fury said to his wife as Maria Hill, I thought it was top secret information that the Kree had sleeper cells on Earth. So that's another storyline they can follow, that there are Kree sleeper cells on Earth. Now that, obviously, Talos being Nick Fury it's not really an MCU changing event, but him being up in space with the Skrulls could be a somewhat MCU changing event, depending on the Secret Invasion and things like that. Now the other post-credit scene is a more Spider-Man related impact, because it will change Spider-Man going forward. Basically, he's swinging through the air with Maria Jones, MJ, Zendaya, that character. He puts her down, he jumps onto a lamppost, and up on the big screen in New York pops up J. Jonah Jameson, played by J.K. Simmons, which is, I had a little pop for that one. But it looks like it's an InfoWars type show. It's an online newspaper, thedailybugle.net, purely online. But basically, he gets information from Quentin Beck, which is an altered videotape, which, as I previously mentioned, shows Peter saying something along the lines of, yes, execute them all, which puts him in a bad light. And J. Jonah Jameson says something like, oh, there you have it. Spider-Man's the evil one and Mysterio's the greatest hero we've ever seen. But there's more. Mysterio has given us conclusive proof that Spider-Man is, and then they put up a picture of Peter Parker. Spider-Man is Peter Parker, and it ends, as the first one did, with Peter Parker going, holy cut, like the first one did. So I kind of want to know how that's going to go. It was a really good film. Mysterio is one of the better villains. One of the things the MCU fails with are their villains. I think Thanos, Loki, Hela. Off the top of my head, I can't think of him anymore. I'd say the Winter Soldier, but he's sort of a good guy now, so that counts, but half counts. But Mysterio, for me, is another one that's up there. His motivations are just, they fit around the rest of the MCU. Again, it's quite based on Tony Stark's life, not Peter's, but again, this is set 6 months after Civil War, 6 months after Infinity War. So I'm guessing Spider-Man's been around for like a year and a half, maybe at this point 2 years. So he's still not at a high level where you're gonna have the Scorpions, Chameleons, Green Goblins, Doctor Octopuses. These people haven't arrived yet. So I think it fits with where this MCU is going. Now I did hear that. Now this is a slightly off topic of MCU specifically, but it's related. I did hear that if Spider-Man doesn't make $1 billion, then the rights return to Sony, which is god awful. I would like to put out there, if Sony take back Spider-Man before Spider-Man has a chance to become the next Iron Man, I will probably and legitimately boycott Sony movies. Because I think Tom Holland is the best Spider-Man we've had. He looks the part, he acts the part, he can flip the part. He, I believe, is the best incarnation of Spider-Man I've seen in my life, which is pretty much all three. Plus, he's just a really good person in real life. Tom Holland I love the guy. So yeah, on record, if Sony prematurely takes Spider-Man away before he has a chance to grow into this generation's Iron Man, I will boycott Sony. Yeah. Anyway, that's it. I think Spider-Man was fantastic. I think it's one of the better MCU films in recent memory, last 4 or 5 years. Again, I'm biased because I love Spider-Man, but I just think it was a really good film and definitely worth watching. This has been a slightly longer video because I think it's been a slightly longer video. Anyway, this is just me rambling now, so I will say goodbye. Comment if you care. If not, don't. Goodbye.